Nike said it best, just do it. When we really think about what we want to do, it's kind of confusing where to start. And I feel like that's something that I've struggled with when it comes to my interest. Oftentimes it's difficult to even understand why you're doing something. And that can kind of be lost in translation as you're trying to figure out your pursuits. And it can be scary too, to really identify that purpose. And even beyond that, you might not even realize your purpose innately. And so you're going down this path, you're treading along, and all of a sudden you might realize, wait, why am I even doing this? And I think that fear of questioning what we're doing, why we're doing it, prevents a lot of people from doing things in the first place. There may be a skill you want to develop. There may be a hobby you want to start. There may be a relationship you have been dying to begin, to come into fruition. But your own fear, your own self-doubt, your own worries sometimes can place those limiting factors on your pursuit for those goals. I think Nike said it best, just do it. A lot of the times, if you want to get something done, bottom line, you should just do it. You should attempt to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the most curated piece of art or something that someone who had 10 years of experience put together and now you're comparing yourself to them. I think a lot of the times people are stuck on that fear. But I want you to think about something real quick. Think about when you were a kid, right? You're on the playground. And I really want you to imagine this image I'm trying to depict to you. You're on the playground. You're just a kid, you're walking around. You see some guy, some girl on bouncing the ball, shooting some hoops. Your first thought is, oh, I really want to play with this person. So what do? You go up and you ask that person, hey, can I play with you? Maybe they say yes, maybe they say no, but you took that initiative. You didn't have any doubts about, oh, they're going to hate me. They might not let me play basketball with them. You just went up and started that conversation. That earnestness, that naivety per se, is something that I feel like we lose as we grow older. We place these rules and set these limits for ourselves, and we build this box that we have to fit inside. And as we grow older, as we stack these rules on top of each other, we compress that box smaller and smaller and smaller until you're worth nothing. You don't have anything you're aspiring towards. Because if you aspire towards those things, you're breaking out of that mold and you're not fitting the description that people place onto you. As we grow older, we lose that inner child, but right now I want you to try to grasp onto that child. Pause. Bro, what? No. Anyway, I want you to hold on to that prior version of yourself. And I want you to really reflect on who you are, what you want to do, and why you want to do it. And I think those are very important things to consider when you're attempting to do something. I think it's a really important thing to consider in life. But above all, what I want to highlight is if you wanted to do something, you would just do it. If you wanted to be someone, you would just imagine you were that person already. When you were a kid, You had grandiose visions of who you were, who you wanted to be, what was possible. I mean, I used to imagine I could jump across miles, stretches of miles of land in one bound. I remember I used to stand on one line on the playground and jump across the other and imagine I was jumping across a canyon. Like, I believed I was that guy. I believed I was impervious. I believed I was indestructible. I believed I was a superhero. Some kids believe they're astronauts, NBA stars. Whatever they believed, they envisioned and placed those hopes and dreams on themselves, and they attempted to do the thing that they wanted to do because they believed in themselves. And I think somewhere along the way, along this road of life, we decide that we're not good enough. We decide that we're incapable of pursuing our goals. And so instead of even taking that first step to step into those goals, into the role, or imagine ourselves as being such, we give up. And I know a lot of you, myself included, have had hopes or interests that we would love to pursue. One of mine was creating content, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this now. I think in the past, I'm going to be honest, even when I previously attempted to record this video, I had an idea of what I wanted, and it was so perfect, so detailed, and it had to go this way, or else there's no point of even doing it. And that limited me. When I first wrote this script, I was like, okay, I'm going to just do it. That's the whole point of this video. I'm going to put aside my fears and commit to doing something that I wanted to do. And that was great. And then I recorded the video. I wrote out this huge, elaborate script. I recorded the video and I didn't like it. So a day goes by, 2 days go by, and I'm not proud of the work I'm doing, and I want to push it to the side. I want to put the camera away. And thank God I started on this video, because I think I would have given up. Because, I mean, the video's content is literally just doing the thing. And I'm going to not do the thing because it's not perfect? Because it's not aligned with my vision of the thing itself? Wow, that's hypocritical. And I don't like that. So I'm just doing the thing. I'm just doing it. Instead of letting my fears of imperfection, my insecurities pour out and say, I'm not good enough to do what I want to do. Let me start somewhere. Let me start here. No one would expect someone who's starting a new hobby to have mastered the craft. If, let's say, let's stick with the route of basketball. You know, you give a kid a basketball and they're messing around with it. They're throwing it around. They don't know how to dribble yet. And you're like, you really don't, you're not cut out for this. You don't even know how to dribble. You should just give up. Just toss the ball aside. Like, let me puncture the ball. You would never do that because they're new to what they're doing. They haven't learned anything. Give them a shot. Give them a shot. Give them a chance to figure things out. So why, when you're trying to start something new, you slap that ball out of your hands? You say, no, you're not good enough for this. And I think if we reflect, and I just realized I don't mean to be dumping. If I'm dumping right now, if I'm just spitting stuff out and it's a me issue and no one else has experienced this in their life ever, that would be very embarrassing. But I think this can be globally understood in some sense or in some manner. So I'm speaking to it. But I think a lot of the times we place these expectations on ourselves. We have such a high level of standard for ourselves that when we start, we don't give us the grace to level up. We don't give the time, the leniency, the consideration that we would give someone new starting whatever they want to pursue. I think in a lot of ways, people talk about healing that inner child. And I think that inner child really speaks to a large part of who you are, your interest. And even if those weren't explored as a child, I think it really speaks to your inner nature. And to ignore that nature, I think it's a sin, honestly. If you keep on pushing away what you want to do, if you keep avoiding who you want to be, at some point, you're going to end up hating yourself and your life. And that regret, that resentment that you build upon yourself. I mean, we see it here today, you know? Like the mental health and strain that young adults in our generation face, especially when everyone's out there spreading these ideological views of what you should be, where you should be at this point in time. And I want to really highlight the fact that that's not even true. That glorified view of what a person is, of what you should be, is hyperbole. It's an exaggeration of the true perspective of life. And so nowadays, people try something, and if they're not perfect at it, they give up because someone else is doing it better. And we think back 50 years ago, right? Without this globalization of media, of news, of communication in general, before the internet was a common source or resource, the most you would compare yourself to, the people you would compare yourself to are individuals within your neighborhood or individuals within your schooling district, right? So maybe at max you're comparing yourself to 100, maybe 500 people. And within your age group, it might be even less. So now the fact that we're able to compare ourselves to millions of people 24/7, 365. No, but the fact that that happens is just, of course you're going to be stressed. Of course you're going to feel inadequate. And the way media is set up today only exists to exemplify those feelings, only exists to make it seem so much more grand, make the difference seem so much larger. And I think that's really important to pay attention to. Because if you don't realize that, and you continue to compare yourself to other people and say, I can't even do this because look at this person, they're already here. When will you start? And I'm telling you, those people didn't automatically have that following. They didn't automatically have that knowledge. They didn't automatically have that skill. They were doing something. They were taking those steps. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to scare myself and say, oh, I should have been taking these steps 5 years ago. Maybe. So just because time is an issue, because I should have started before, means I shouldn't start now. And if this is something I really want to do, I'm just going to keep on pushing it off because I should have done that 5 years ago. No. How does that make any sense? You're going to say, I should have started that 10 years ago, 5 years from now. And it's just going to continue, and you're going to have this regret and resentment and hate towards yourself. These rules we build, these limits we set, are extremely destructive. And if we don't take the first step to walk out of this cage we built, these bars we placed, we'll be stuck in jail forever. The jail of our own limits. People talk about self-fulfilling prophecies. People talk about affirmations. What kind of affirmation are you giving yourself now by saying you can't do something? By saying it's too late for you to start? What kind of bars are you building? And I think that's really important for us to recognize. And I also think that it's really important to know the why behind what we're doing, why we want to do what we're doing, what are the motivations behind those things we're doing, where do those motivations come from? Those are all really important questions that we should really start to pay attention to. And I'll have a video on that coming up next. But most of all, the most important thing that we have to do today is start. Whether that be writing a script, whether that be reading a book you always wanted to read, just opening it, skimming the synopsis, whether that be sitting down and studying, whether that be, I'm saying whether that be like I don't know, a rapper or something, whether that be, there's going to be a whether and then that be, nah, that be, yeah. What? But whatever it is, I want you to sit down. I want you to think about what are the steps you need to take to make this thing real, to make it tangible. And I want you to do it. Just do it. Because why not? Why are you setting these limits on yourself? So whatever you've been sitting on, start. Start today. Start now. Not tomorrow. Not when the conditions are right. Just do it.